Here are the top stories for today, October 26, 2021. Beating a fierce enemy, the health department says the country was able to successfully contain the spread of the Delta variant in less than 2 months. Most eager, President Rodrigo Duterte says he is ready to defend his memorandum barring officials of the executive from attending hearings of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee over the procurement of alleged overpriced medical supplies amid the pandemic. More rays of hope seen, Malacanang says there is a high chance of further downgrading Metro Manila's alert level due to a dip in the COVID-19 average daily attack rate. And a sigh of relief for some 178,000 public utility vehicle drivers as the government is set to release 1 billion pesos in fuel subsidies as the rise in oil prices shows no signs of abating. Good day, I am William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vejeres said the Philippines has controlled the rise in the number of coronavirus cases with better healthcare systems in place. Vejeres said the government was able to reduce the number of cases in 1.5 months after the first cases of the Delta variant were detected. The decline in the number of cases prompted officials to ease movement restrictions in the NCR, which is now under Alert Level 3. The Delta variant, initially detected from returning overseas Filipinos, is now detected in all 17 regions and all NCR cities and lone municipalities.
We were expecting a lot of cases when the Delta variant came in and has affected the Philippines kasi nakita natin kung paano niya inapekto ang India, kung paano siya nakaapekto sa ibang lugar pa sa buong mundo. And we were expecting talaga na talagang tayo ay magkakaroon ng sobrang taas na mga kaso, tayo ay mau-overwhelm, tayo ay magkakaroon ng maraming pagkakamatay. Pero hindi po natin naabot yung projected number of cases, hindi po natin naabot yung overwhelmed health systems. Although nahirapan po talaga tayo, we were all challenged.
President Rodrigo Duterte emphasized the need to ramp up the vaccination rate in various local government units. This is to meet the country's target of at least 50 million Filipinos to achieve population protection by December this year. The president said a non-stop vaccination program at the local levels can greatly contribute to expediting the COVID-19 vaccination program nationwide. He said the vaccination program should also scale up even in the far-flung communities, and the vaccines which will be deployed in these far-flung areas must not expire and must be free from contamination.
As of October 24, the Philippines has received more than 97.6 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines. Marami na tayong supply ng bakuna sa awa ng Diyos. I urge LGUs to come up with a more systematic and efficient way of finding out who among your constituents have not yet vaccinated. Please do everything to convince them to get vaccinated.
President Duterte also commended the successful pilot run of the pediatric vaccination.
The first phase of our vaccination of minors aged 12 to 17 launched in NCR last October 15 was successful. So binabakunahan na yung mga bata. On Friday, October 22, we launched phase 2 of our pediatric vaccinations. As of October 24, more than 9,900 pediatric vaccinations in 26 hospitals have been recorded according to DOH.
More than 90% of personnel in the identified schools for the pilot run of face-to-face classes are already fully vaccinated. So far, the Department of Education has already identified 90 public schools for the in-person classes starting November 15. Of the 90 public schools identified, 14 schools are in Caraga, 10 schools in Ilocos, 10 schools in Cagayan Valley, 10 schools in Eastern Visayas, 8 schools in Central Visayas, 8 schools in Zamboanga Peninsula, 8 schools in Davao, 6 schools in Northern Mindanao, 5 schools in Calabarzon, and 5 schools in Socsargen. In a palace press briefing, Education Secretary Leonor Briones said the goal of the Department of Education, or DepEd, is to have 100 public schools participate in the limited in-person classes nationwide. She said the selection of the schools depends on many factors, and one of them is the risk assessment done by the Department of Health. She said the local government units where the schools are situated must allow the implementation of the pilot limited face-to-face classes. The school's facilities must have the appropriate setup complete with water and medicines, and there must be written consent from the parents of learners who plan to participate. Presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque said there is a big possibility that the current Alert Level 3 status of the National Capital Region will be downgraded. This as the Department of Health reports a significant drop in COVID-19 infections.
Malaki ang posibilidad na maibababa ang alert level kasi nga po nakikita natin yung datos ay bumababa, no? Negative 52% na po yung ating 2-week attack rate. Tapos yung ating average daily attack rate ay bumaba po ng 9.87. Tapos yung ating COVID bed utilization rate is now at 39% and 48% for ICU beds.
Meanwhile, Roque appealed to the people visiting the newly opened Manila Baywalk Dolomite Beach to continue adhering to the minimum public health standards. This after the Manila Baywalk Coordinating Office recorded tens of thousands of people, including children accompanied by their parents, who visited the Dolomite Beach over the weekend.
Well, unang-una po ang mga bata, talagang for essentials lang po na dapat lumalabas ang kanilang mga tahanan, no? So hindi pa po pwede talagang magpasyal-pasyal ang mga bata. So unang-una nananawagan po kami sa ating mga kababayan, no? Pandemya pa po. Bagamat bumababa po ang mga kaso natin, nandyan pa po si COVID-19, no? So wag po tayo magpabaya, no? Kinakailangan po mask, hugas, iwas, at kung kakayanin na, bakuna nga po, no? Nananawagan din po kami sa kapulisan, siguro dyan po sa Maynila, no? Kinakailangan po ipatupad natin yung social distancing, no? Talaga naman po ang Dolomite for the enjoyment of everyone. Pero wag naman hong maging dahilan yan para magkaroon tayo ng super spreader event.
The private sector can loan their unused coronavirus vaccines to the national government. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere said this measure aims to avoid the wastage of life-saving shots. Some infectious diseases specialists earlier recommended that the government use the near-expiry shots procured by the private sector, as these could just go to waste if unused. Through the loan policy, the national government was able to collect 356,000 doses of US-made Moderna vaccines from the private sector. These doses have been distributed to Calabarzon and Central Luzon.
Kung meron po silang pinangahawakan ng mga bakuna na near expiry na, pwede nila yan i-loan sa national government, magkakaroon lang ng agreement, at pag dumating na yung panahon na kailangan na nila, papalitan po natin para lang hindi masayang yung bakuna na hawak nila.
Still to come, Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte stands firm on her decision not to join the presidential race. And some 178,000 PUV drivers are set to get fuel subsidies as oil price hikes are not seen to hit the brakes anytime soon. Details ahead. Keep it here on the PNA Newsroom.
Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Unang sabunin ang mga palad at ang likod ng mga kamay. Kuskusin na maigi ang pagitan ng mga daliri at maging ang mga kuko. Isunod ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki at kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. Banlawang mabuti ang mga kamay sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
President Rodrigo Duterte emerged as the most approved and trusted government official in the third quarter survey of Publicus Asia. The details from Marita Mawahe.
Publicus Asia Incorporated's October 11 to 18 poll shows that President Duterte got an overall approval rating of 60%, which is an improvement from his 58% score in the survey. The president also acquired a high trust rating of 53%, 3 points higher than his 50% score in the previous quarter. Duterte's government also got a high approval for its handling of national issues like extending voter registration, conducting an audit on Red Cross, a full opening of the economy by December, and allowing minors to get the COVID-19 vaccine, among others. He also registered the highest shares of all the traits measured. His top traits include brave, decisive, has love for the Philippines, has concern for Filipinos, responsible, pro-poor, upholds the law, and sincere, among others. Meanwhile, Vice President Robredo registered the highest disapproval rating of 40%, while 31% said they approved of her performance. Robredo also registered the highest low trust rating at 47%, while 22% had high trust in her. Senate President Vicente Soto III recorded an overall approval rating of 34%, while only 27% disapproved of his performance. Soto suffered a 3% decline in his total high trust rating of 20% for the third quarter's poll. Robredo and Soto's approval and trust rates dropped after declaring and filing their bids for the presidency. House Speaker Lord Alan Velasco registered a 24% approval rating and an 18% disapproval mark. Only 12% said they had high trust in Velasco, while 36% said they had low trust. Chief Justice Alexander Hesmundo recorded a 24% approval rating and a 25% disapproval rating. As for trust, 15% said they had high trust in Hesmundo, while 30% said they had low trust. The non-commissioned survey comprised of 1,500 respondents drawn from a market research panel of over 200,000 Filipinos. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Marita Mawahe.
Philippine National Police Chief General Guillermo Eleazar expressed elation over an improvement in the organization's trust rating based on the results of a non-commissioned survey. In the survey conducted by independent pollster Publicus Asia Incorporated, the PNP gained 5 points in its total high trust rating of 35.2, while total low trust dropped by 8 points to 26.8. Publicus said the police force has improved its trust ratings in 2 successive quarters. Eleazar attributed the PNP's achievement to the hard work, efforts, and sacrifices of all police personnel in preserving the integrity of the organization. Meantime, Eleazar appealed to all personnel to set aside their personal interests and prioritize the welfare of the public. He also thanked the public for trusting the PNP in performing its mandate to serve and protect the public. Presidential daughter and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio is still not running for president. Presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque said Sara is bent on seeking re-election as mayor in the May 2022 elections. Sara has repeatedly said she would not join the 2022 presidential race. Speculations, however, surfaced anew that the daughter of President Rodrigo Duterte might consider running for the highest post of the land after she met with former senator and presidential aspirant Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos in Cebu City over the weekend. She was also spotted in photos wearing a green hoodie with Sara All 2022 emblazoned on it. Sara All Philippines 2022 is one of the groups urging her to run for president. President Rodrigo Duterte said he is most eager to answer the legality of his order prohibiting executive branch officials from attending the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearings on the procurement of supplies against COVID-19. In the pre-recorded Talk to the People aired Monday night, Duterte welcomed the move of the Senate Blue Ribbons panel to challenge the legality of his order before the Supreme Court. He said his disagreement with the Senate Blue Ribbon panel may be settled in the Supreme Court and all questions about his memo may be answered there. The panel, chaired by Senator Richard Gordon, has been conducting motu proprio inquiry into the procurement of medical supplies through Pharmaly Pharmaceutical Corporation since last year. On October 4, Duterte signed the memorandum for all officials and employees of the Executive Department to ignore the summons of the Senate panel, citing the separation of powers among the different branches of government. President Rodrigo Duterte honored the construction workers who worked for the completion of the Sariaya Bypass Road project in Quezon Province despite the COVID-19 pandemic. In his Talk to the People aired on Monday night, Duterte also lauded the expertise of the Department of Public Works and Highways and its partners for accomplishing the road project. The 7.4-kilometer road project is part of the administration's Build infrastructure program. It starts at the Manila South Road, Daang Maharlika Road, and ends at the Quezon Eco Tourism Road. In a video presentation, the DPWH said the Sariaya Bypass Road will provide daily transport efficiency to around 15,000 motorists and commuters daily going around the southern Tagalog region. Duterte expressed confidence that the Sariaya Bypass Road would spur the growth of industries and business opportunities in the Quezon Province. Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade wants motor vehicle owners to have the freedom to choose between private emission testing centers and private motor vehicle inspection centers in getting their vehicle tested. In a statement, Tugade said vehicle testing fees in both PETs and PMVICs are now almost similar despite the multitude of tests PMVICs offer versus PETCs that offer only emission tests. He said mandatory testing must only be considered once the population of PETCs and PMVICs have reached critical mass or the point in which something becomes self-sustaining. Tugade said PMVICs and PETCs are required to comply with the standards set by the government. Last Thursday, Land Transportation Office Chief Edgar Galvante assured the public that mandatory vehicle testing at PMVICs remains suspended. He said PMVICs are free to continue to operate and only mandatory testing at such establishments is suspended. Some 178,000 bona fide public utility vehicle drivers are set to benefit from the fuel subsidies that will be released through the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB. The Interagency Development Budget Coordination Committee said the cash aid will be dispersed to the drivers in the remaining months of 2021 using LTFRB's Pantawid Pasada program. This, as global oil prices continue to rise over $80 per barrel and have affected domestic fuel prices. The economic manager said they are committed to support the local transportation sector amidst the increasing oil prices. Oil companies have announced another round of fuel price hikes for this week, the 8th consecutive week of price increases. Effective today, October 26, gasoline prices jumped by 1 peso and 15 centavos per liter and diesel by around 45 centavos per liter. More stories from the newsroom. Some immigration personnel are in hot water for defying the ban on posting TikTok videos while on duty. And do you have the guts to be one? The Philippine Army is recruiting over 1,000 new officers. Back after a quick break, stay with the PNA Newsroom.
Alamin ang tamang paraan ng pag-ubo upang mapigilan ang paglaganap ng Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ugaliing magdala ng panyo o tissue. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang buong ilong at bibig gamit ang panyo o tissue. Kung walang dalang panyo o tissue, maaaring gamitin ang braso na pantakip. Kung nakararamdam na kailangan umubo o bumahing, agad na dumistansya sa mga tao sa paligid. Huwag dumura kung saan-saan, gumamit ng tissue at itapon sa basurahan. Ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol o hand sanitizer upang mamatay ang mikrobyo. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
You're still watching the PNA Newsroom. Strings of criminal cases will be filed against the Communist Party of the Philippines New People's Army for detonating anti-personnel mines during an encounter in Barangay Holason, Tubungan, Iloilo on October 24. Two members of the 1st Iloilo Provincial Mobile Force Command were injured in the clash against elements of the NPA Southern Front Committee, Comiteng Rehiyon Panay. They were investigating an explosion believed to have been caused by the communist terrorist group at the police detachment in Barangay Mayang. Lieutenant Alvin Salmon, officer in charge of the Tubungan Municipal Police Station, said the cases will be regarding the use of explosives and physical injuries, among others. The international community adopted the 1997 Anti-Personnel Mine or APM Ban Convention, prohibiting the acquisition, production, stockpiling, and use of weapons. More than 160 states are party to the APM Ban Convention that went into effect in 1999. APM is prohibited under international humanitarian law. The Bureau of Immigration is now investigating personnel assigned at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport who supposedly posted videos of themselves dancing or singing while on duty and in uniform on video sharing app TikTok. BI Port Operations Chief Carlos Capulong said Commissioner Jaime Morente has ordered to hold these errant employees for investigation and filing of administrative cases. Capulong meanwhile reminded employees to strictly observe the ban on the use of cellular phones and other gadgets while on duty. He issued a memorandum on the matter where he warned that those who will defy the measure will face administrative cases for insubordination and misconduct. In December last year, Morente banned BI employees in uniform from posting on TikTok, saying the act tarnishes the Bureau's reputation as an institution. The Philippine Army is now looking for 1,050 individuals to fill up its officer slots for this year. Army spokesperson Colonel Cerces Trinidad said over 2,100 slots in total will be open for the recruitment of Army officers this year. He said the Army thoroughly selects the best and the brightest who will carry out the noble duty of protecting the peace and stability of the nation in the future. Interested applicants can visit the Philippine Army website or contact the Army recruitment offices at Fort Andres Bonifacio in Luzon, Camp Lapu-Lapu in Visayas, and Mindanao. The Philippine Sports Commission or PSC approved on Tuesday the 750,000 peso incentive for Carlos Yulo for his twin medal performance at the 2021 FIG Artistic Gymnastics World Championship in Kitakyushu, Japan. Yulo won gold and silver medals in the men's vault and parallel bars events respectively. PSC Executive Director Guillermo Iroy said that the FIG event is not part of the global tournaments covered by the National Athletes and Coaches Benefits and Privileges Incentives Act. The PSC took an exception in 2019 when Yulo captured the historic floor gold in Stuttgart, in which he was given 1 million pesos. Meanwhile, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque congratulated Yulo, saying his brilliance in Kitakyushu epitomizes what the Filipinos can do in sports. Deputy Speaker Eric Martinez said Yulo's gold medal win would be a confidence boost for the 2024 Paris Olympics. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. Beating a fierce enemy, the health department says the country was able to successfully contain the spread of the Delta variant in less than 2 months. Most eager, President Rodrigo Duterte says he is ready to defend his memorandum barring officials of the executive from attending hearings of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee over the procurement of alleged overpriced medical supplies amid the pandemic. More rays of hope seen, Malacanang says there is a high chance of further downgrading Metro Manila's alert level due to a dip in the COVID-19 average daily attack rate. And a sigh of relief for some 178,000 public utility vehicle drivers as the government is set to release 1 billion pesos in fuel subsidies as the rise in oil prices shows no signs of abating. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, check our webpage or log on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And it is 60 days to go before Christmas, and that is exactly 2 months. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. We tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day to all.